Am I audible? Come on, students, am I audible? Okay. So, yes, Harsha Vardhan, congratulations for you. Congratulations. Right. Very good, ma. Congratulations. Yeah, Harsha Vardhan. You send that WhatsApp message to me, Harsha Vardhan. You send that WhatsApp message. You have my number, right? You send a WhatsApp message so that I can show in other batches. So express your views about our class. Then we will give that same message what you show to our students in the next classes. So congratulations. God bless you. Harsha Vardhan. Harsha Vardhan got a job in HCL, 3.5 lakhs per annum. Nice. Very good. Good luck. God bless you. Send that message to me in the WhatsApp. Okay? Yeah. Right. So let us start, students. Now I will go for the next discussion now. Next discussion, I will go for it. Okay, students. So next term, I would like to go for next continuation topic. Right? What is the continuation topic? Continuation topic. Harshavardhan, don't forget, ma, after the class, you try to send that message so that every message our students get the job is motivating to other students. They will also go for high motivated so that they'll be inspired by seeing your messages. Okay, right. Constructors topic we will continue now. Constructors topic I will continue. Okay, right. Okay, so let's move to the constructors topic today. So we are entering into constructors topic now. So, dear students, fine. Constructors in Python. VG topic, very, very simple topic, easy. You can understand like anything. Let us go to the constructors topic now. Yes. So, coming to the next topic, we are entering now. Yeah. In our class, one of the student came on my name, Junior Caviar. Yes, really feeling so happy by seeing the name, Junior Caviar. But really, right, ma? Okay. So my number I gave to everybody, right? One day I gave my number to everybody, to you people. I am typing my number. Yeah, I gave my number already in the class. Again, I am giving. Sachin, I am giving to everybody, ma. This is my WhatsApp number. To everybody, it is there on your screen. Okay. Please take care. If anybody gets a job, please send the message to me so that I can show this to the students. Okay, students, let me move to the constructors topic now. Constructors topic now. Yeah. So there we are talking about what is the purpose of constructors. What is the purpose of constructors? We are going to understand in this index. We are understanding purpose of constructor. Why we are going for constructors now. Next, we are understanding about definition of constructor. Definition of constructor. Definition of constructor. Okay. Next, we are talking about types of constructors. Types of constructors. Constructors. Okay. Next, I will talk about syntax for constructors. Syntax for constructors. Syntax for constructors. I will explain. Syntax for constructors. Types of constructors. Followed by programming examples. Programming examples. We will enter into that. This is called our topic, which we are going to enter into that. So carefully follow. So I will take the class, all of you. Must be careful enough to understand. Up to 7:45, 7:50, I will take the class. Don't miss, because constructors programming we need to see. Complete discussion we need to understand in this class. Okay, easiest topic. Let's start without late. First term, I will talk about, this is our index. This is our index, topic index. We are going to talk about the purpose. Right, students? Let us take an example immediately. Let us take an example immediately. Look at that. Let us consider a class called, right, students? Now, class called EMP, employee, right? Employee, class called employee. In the class called employee, I will just say pass. I'm writing, dear students, I will write it. Employee example1.py. Carefully follow. Now I will come to the main program. Main program I am writing. Yeah. There I am taking, guys, listen, object I will create. Yes, students, I forget how to create an object. Everybody, please tell me how to create an object, please. Yeah, Mono, very good. Kurtish, right, Mataushif, very good. Object name, EO1 is equal to employee. Object, EO1 is equal to employee. Object is equal to employee. We created an object. Okay, students. What is the value of EO1 now? Empty. Super. How do you print it? See, students, content of EO1 is equal to underscore EO1 dot. Yeah, let me close. EO1 dot underscore dict underscore of EO1 dot underscore dict. EO1 dot underscore dict. Right, students? EO1 dot underscore dict. So it is going to show you empty. Tell me, students, how do you place the data? How do you place the instance data? Object is always going to contain the data. To place the data in the object contains which type of data? Quickly, I want. Object contains which type of data? I want to know object contains which type of data? Instance data. Already I told you. Did you remember that? Object is always containing which type of data, students? Instance data members. Am I correct? Am I correct or not? Object contains always instance data members. Always keep in mind that. Always remember that instance data member. Where do you specify the instance data members? In a method. How we used to do it? Let us execute this first of all. Let us execute this. Go to the place of it. I will go to the 6 p.m. I will take it. Oops. Under that, I will take today's concept is constructors. Constructors. Okay. Constructors. There I will go for placing EMP employee example1.py. EO1 is equal to employee. Content of EO1 is equal to EO1 dot underscore dict. Let us say execute. Let us coming back to this place. Now here, coming to this G colon CD, KVR, say Python, I say Python, 6 p.m., say CD, oops, under that CD constructors topic, I was saved inside of it. PY, say that employee example1.py empty. That means, as you are already aware of it, students, object is created that is called EO1, which is not containing any data. Some type of reference is available. 1, 2, 3. How we used to place the data then in this out? This is called empty object. So whenever an object is created, some empty data is placed inside. Nothing is there inside of it. How we used to place earlier? We used to take a method, function name. Yeah, mono, correct. How we used to place the data? We used to use the method. EO1.employee, EO2, EO3. Like that, many more functions are there. We can do in number of ways. NO is equal to 100. EO1 dot name is equal to EO1 dot something is equal to like that. Today I'm doing EO1 dot read which values? Employee values. Read employee values. What function it is? Instance function called with respect to EO1. EO1 is an object of what? Employee. This is what we used to call so far. Your PVM control goes to where? Employee. Looking for what? Read employee function. Read employee values. Read EMP values. Read EMP values. There I am talking about. Read EMP values. Okay, students. Read EMP values. There I will write it. Self dot. Which data members you want to take? Here I need to write compulsory what? Self. What is that self? EO1 reference is present into self. That means this ID is passing to the self. Self is an object pointing to the current class object. Dot ENO is equal to int of input of enter student number and employee number. Yes, enter employee number. Quickly try to understand, ma. Enter employee number. Self dot ename is equal to input of enter employee name. Self dot shall is equal to float of enter employee salary. Sal. Okay, I got it. Input of I need to give. Yes, ma. Input of. Yes, beautiful. Input of I need to give it. So after this I want to go for it. Again I will print it. Let us see. Before calling this function empty, after calling this is empty. Printed the data. Employee number is coming. What is this? ENO. Values are coming in the form of key comma value pair. C students. Values I am getting. C students. How the things are. Go. Employee. See that. Before that content is empty. 10. 10. Harsha Vardhan. So I will write our student name. Yes, next is called Sal is called 3.5. So got it. See that ENO, E name and then salary. Then earlier is called what? Empty. Now you got number, name and then this. So what you have to understand here is whenever an object is created, it is an empty. After that data is kept here. Beginning it is going to be empty. Later it is done. What is my questioning today is, I want to see here, understand the situation, my dear students. Object is created. Okay. After creating an object, EO1 is created. In the EO1, I am placing my data, first value, second value, third value. Then I am reading my values and I am printing that. So first it is empty. Later it is called non-empty. That means you are placing the values. That indicates when it is becoming non-empty, because you are calling explicitly some function you are calling. Explicitly you are calling one method. That method is reading the values. You are calling one function explicitly. You are calling one function explicitly. There is one function is there in Python. Whenever you call this function, then only this is placing the values. If you don't call this function, you are not going to get the values in the EO1 object. In Python, we are having one special function is there. One special function is there. Let me take that special function is called constructor. Let me directly show you the execution, directly show you the program. After that, I will speak about it. Today, we are using some function. Today, I don't write this function name. There is one special function I am defining, which is not your method. Read employee values. You are choosing this method. Now I am writing underscore init underscore of self. Today you must remember this comes under notation of the constructor, dear students. Constructor. Okay. This comes under the constructor syntax. See what I am writing. Same type of thing. Number, name, and etc. Where I am specifying the instance data member inside of this function. Special function it is. See, you need not to write this stage. See, earlier what I did, EO1 dot. I called one special, I called our own function explicitly. Today I don't write it. Whenever an object is created, line number 12, the straightforward, the control goes to employee class and looking for self init function, because this is called what? Employee is the class name. Yes, look at all of you. Very, very sensitive point this is. Employee is the class name actually. That I am writing opening bracket and closing bracket, it is acting as a function name. Class name acting as a function name. Actually in Java, this is called constructor. In our Python, which is acting as a constructor call. This is acting as a constructor call. Constructor call this is. Constructor call means what? Call require definition. What is the definition for this constructor call? This is the function definition. This is the definition for the function. This one is the definition. This one is the definition. To this function, our data will be executed. Understand? Once again, this is a constructor call. Whenever an object is creating, your PVM is calling the constructor. Immediately your constructor control will go to this function and it will read these values, and these values will be placed in EO without leaving empty. Values are placed. That means constructors are used for initializing the objects. Yes, Omkar, like Java, constructors are used for initializing the objects without leaving empty. Constructors are used for initializing your object. Functions are used for performing the operations. Constructors are meant for initializing the object, placing the data. Whereas functions are used for what? Performing the operation. Because already we learned functions are nothing but in OOPS we call it as what? Methods we can call. So coming to the point of it, let me execute this logic once. Whenever line number 12 is there, straightforward it will go to this constructor. Execute this now. Constructor employee example 2. Now I will see how easy to understand this logic. I will take it 6 p.m. I will take it here. I will take it. Oops. Under that constructor, I will save my program. Employee example 2. Let's execute employee example 2. See, my dear student, 10. And next is called Harshavardhan. And next is called 3.5. See, my data is printing without leaving empty. Our own data is placed. Did you understand this meaning? Easy for you. Am I calling any function explicitly, students? Am I calling any function explicitly? No. So constructor is called what? Is it a normal function or special function? Is it a normal function or special function? Special function, special method, special method. When it is calling, whenever an object is created, whenever an object is created, during the object creation, what is its job? To place our own values without leaving as empty, which is called object initialization. It is a gunshot question in interview point of view. What is the purpose of constructor? What is the purpose of constructor? The purpose of constructor is to initialize the object. To initialize the object. Did you understand the meaning of the word called initializing the object? Yes. Yes, students, one more object you take it. EO2 is equal to employee. One more object I am initializing. See, one more time constructor is calling. Employee number is called 10. Harshavardhan, that's 3.5. One more time asking, enter employee number. I will say 20. So I will write Ajinkya. Today, one of my student from West Bengal, he also got a job. In the company called Siemens, Bangalore. Ajinkya is got it. He got it. 5.6. Of course, he is having some academic gap is there. He was keeping some what do you call, some Python projects, and he got it. So he's got what? Of course, I did not print the data. I need to print this data here. Let us see content of EO2. See that EO2. Yes, sir. Say same values we entered. Then see. Then you see the data. EO2 data also printed. Tell me, students, who is initializing my object values? Constructor. Come on, for my satisfaction, all of you tell me, what is the purpose of constructor? Yes, I can expect everybody to say single word, to initialize the object. Did you understand the meaning of initialization? Initializing the object is nothing but placing our own values without keeping it empty. That is called initializing the object. Go to the place of this. Now I will start writing it. The purpose of constructors. A very easy topic, right? The purpose of constructors. The purpose of what? Constructors is that, right? The purpose of constructors is that to initialize the object, to initialize the objects. The purpose of constructors is to initialize the object. Initializing the object is nothing but initializing the object is nothing but placing our own values without keeping the object empty. Placing our own values without keeping the object empty. That is known as what? Initializing the object. The most important word. Why do you use constructors? Or somebody will ask a question. Who will initialize the object in whoops? Come on, mom. All of you. Who will initialize the object in whoops? Constructor. What is the role of functions, methods in whoops? What is the role of methods in whoops? To perform the operation. Good. Tell me, object initialization first, operation first? Come on. Object initialization first, operation first? Initialization is first. Later we can go for performing the operation. Beautiful. Now, dear student, you tell me, Whenever you open an account in the bank, whenever you open an account in the bank, all of you, whenever you open an account in the bank, what is your account is initialized with minimum balance, na? Minimum balance you must initialize or not? Yes, you must initialize the minimum balance. Minimum balance you need to. Okay. After initializing minimum balance, next day what are you doing? What are you doing? You are doing deposit. You are depositing 1,000 rupees. You are depositing 2,000 rupees. You are depositing 10,000. You are depositing. After 4 days, you are withdrawing 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees. So depositing, withdraw, what do you call balance inquiry? These are all called what? Balance verification. These are all called what? Transactions. That is nothing but functions, methods they are doing. Did you understand? Did you understand, students? Yes. Come on, ma. For my satisfaction, I will write definition of constructor. Definition of constructor. Come on, my dear students. Tell me, what is the definition of constructor? I'm eagerly waiting for everybody. Is it a normal method or special method? Constructor. Is it a normal method or a special method? Is it a normal method or special method? Special method. Constructor is a special method. I'm writing here, a constructor is a special method. See the wording. You have to define as it is, students. A constructor is a special method. A constructor is a special method, which is automatically. Are you calling or it is calling automatically? Are you calling explicitly or automatically calling? Automatically calling. What is the difference between method and constructor? They will ask you. Method is meant for performing the operations on the objects. Constructor is meant for keeping the values inside the object, initializing the object. One more difference. Method need to call explicitly. Constructors will call implicitly. A constructor is a special method which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during which creation? Object creation. During object creation. A constructor is a special method which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during object creation, and whose role is that to place our own values without keeping the object empty. Without keeping object empty. This is the without keeping object empty. That is nothing but initializing the object. Beautiful. Dear students, next let us see, a constructor is a special method which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during object creation, and whose role is that to place our own values without keeping object empty. Now I would like to write syntax for defining the constructor. Now see, students, syntax for defining constructor. A very simple, students, syntax for defining the constructor. Carefully try to understand. Yeah, right. Yes, ma. Types also we will come across. Tausif. Yeah, definitely we will come across. Look at ma. 1 minute. You see, employee. See, here underscore init is not taking any parameter except self. Such a type of constructor is called default constructor, we can call. All of you, please listen, students. This is the constructor notation. It is taking only self. Self means what? Definitely it is having instance nature. Is it a class level nature or instance nature or static nature? Which nature it has? Which nature it has? It has the instance nature. Instance nature, because taking self as a first parameter. How happy. Now see students, you see employee is a function, acting as a function. It is called a constructor call. Due to this line, your PVM will straight forward will go to this line. Straight forward will go to this line. And it will execute, and then printing this data. Okay, students. Now I am telling to you guys, one important point I would like to say. In this case, I am not passing any data. Let me take one more example. Of course, these are all called very, very useful things for you. Very useful things. Now see, I'm placing. Here, I don't keep the data. I don't read the data. I don't read. See, employee is equal to 10 comma, see, RS comma 12.34. See ma, values I am passing, values. It is called a constructor call. Through that I am passing the values. See this entire line, very carefully observe it. Now what is happening? This EO1 will go to self, and 10 will go to some parameter I will take. RS I will take one more parameter. Positional parameters, these are called. Let's go to that. I will write it here. ENO comma, ename comma, cell. Such ENO and etc. I will pass it. Assigned to the self dot ENO. Ename here. And the next is called what? You know, sal I am writing. Sal I am writing. This is called parameterized constructor we can call. Which constructor it is? Parameterized constructor. Previous one is called which constructor? Ma? Default constructor. No parameters are taking in the constructor, which is called a default constructor. Here also no values are passing. Yes, ma, mono. Self is containing your current class object. Whenever this line is executing, EO1 reference is containing in self. Right? And no more values you are passing from employee. No more values. Here no more values are there. That's why it is called a default constructor. Mono, did you understand, ma? Right. Now you see, here you see this point here. This is the values you are passing. Here employee 2 you see 20 comma, Dennis Ritchie comma, I say 45.67. These are the another values you are passing. When it comes, EO2 is passing to self, 20 will pass to ENO, DR will pass to ename, and this is passing here. Let us execute this. This is called parameterized constructor. Okay. So whichever one, once you know one constructor, na automatically, sorry, I will execute constructor example 3. 3 na? Yes, 3. See that 3. What is happening? Directly values are printed. ENO, directly values are printed. This is called which constructor? Can you tell me which constructor it is? Come on. It is called parameterized constructor. It is called which type of constructor? Which type of constructor it is? Default constructor. Dear students, let's go back to this syntax for defining a constructor. Yes. Actually, if you want, I can go for one constructor. Okay. After giving that, later I will go for it. Right, students? Look at that. Types of constructors. What are the types of constructors here? 2 types of constructors we have. See how simple it is. Syntax is simple. Yes, ma? Narasimha Rao. Yes. Calling the data from main program. That is only what I am passing, na? Passing the data from main program. Yes, sir. Passing the data. You can accept the data from main program also. That data I am passing to the constructor. I want to initialize this object with this data. I want to initialize EO2 with this data, which you are passing from the main program to the constructor. Narsimharao, are you okay, ma? Narsimharao. Okay. Come on to the point of it. What is the constructor now? What is the constructor? How many types of constructors are there? In Python programming, we have two types of constructors. Two types of constructors. Two types of constructors. They are. What is that? Option A. Option A. Default, also called as what you know, parameterless constructor. Parameterless constructor. Parameterless constructor. B, parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Yes, I will take up here. Parameterized constructor. I am writing. Parameterized constructor. Two types of constructors are there. Yes, ma, Srinu. Yeah, Srinivas. Yeah, Srinivas. Two types of constructors are available. Two types of constructors are available. One is default, one more is called what? Parameterless constructor we can call. Sir, what is the default constructor? I want to go for it. When should I go for default constructor? Of course, strictly, if you know the constructors, both of them, na, any constructor I can use it, not an issue at all. And especially in the Python, oops, any constructor I can use it. See, strictly speaking, let us follow, my dear students. First one I am talking, default constructor I will explain. First one is called what? Default constructor. Second one is parameterized constructor. Now I am taking default constructor first. Default constructor I am taking. Yes, right. Coming to the point of a constructor. Yes, ma, Narsimharao. Because of new facilities, na, coding will become compact. Compact it is. Yes. So, what is the default constructor? As we discussed now, is the constructor taking any parameters? Is it taking any parameters? No. Such a type of constructor is called which constructor? Default constructor. Let me write it. A constructor is said to be default constructor. If and only if a constructor is said to be a default constructor, if and only if, which never takes any values, or what? Parameters. Which a constructor is said to be a default constructor, if and only if, which never takes any parameters. Sir, what is the syntax? So simple, sir. DEF underscore init underscore of what? Self. No formal parameters. Sorry, self. Are you thinking that it is taking any formal parameters, students? Do you think that any formal parameters? No formal parameters. So we should not write formal parameters. Yes, I will write it here. Yes, I will write block of statements. Doing what? Initialization. Doing what, ma? Initialization. Yes. This is called a default constructor. Sir, what is your recommendation for a default constructor? Can you give any special reasons, sir, when you are preferring to go for default constructor? Dear students, see, when you are going to take, see, carefully observe it. I will just take one small paint brush I will take. Suppose I want to create one object. I want to create an object. Like I want to create one object. What is an object I decided to create, students? I would like to take like this. So T1 is an object, T2 is an object, T3 is an object. T1, T2, T3 are called what? T1, T2, T3. This is called a T1, T1. This is called a T2. This is called a T2. This is called a T3. This is called a T3. T3 this is. What is this object? Test is a class. Whose objects are created? Whose objects are created? T1, T2 and next is called what? T3. Three objects are created. I would like to take here T1 and next is called, this is called T2. Next is called what you know students? T3 I will take it. T3 I will take it. These are the objects. What is this is called? A and then B. This is called B. Here also I will take A. Here also I will take what? A and B. Here also A and then here also B. I would like to place the value 10, 20, 10, 20. Here I would like to place what values? You know students, 10, 20. Multiple objects I am creating with the same class. Multiple objects I want to initialize of the same class. Come on, multiple objects. Decided to initialize. See how easy to do that. Decided to initialize multiple objects of which class? Same class. Decided to initialize with what values? Same values. Which constructor I will use? Default constructor I will use it. Default constructor. Multiple objects of same class decided to initialize with the same values. I will use a default constructor. Sir, how do you create, sir? T1 object create. T1 is equal to test of. T2 is equal to test of. T3 is equal to T3 is equal to test of. Then automatically what will happen, sir? Class test. I will take it. So happy. I will write a okay. DEF underscore init underscore of self. I will write it. Self. There I am writing what? I will write it. Self dot A. Always self, you must be so powerful, students. Self dot B. Whenever you write self dot A and B, they are belongs to the current class object. Tell me, whenever this is created, it is coming to this place, executing A and B 1020 of this object. Okay. Whenever you are creating this test T2 object, it will come to test class looking for this constructor AB, it will create this object T2. Next, whenever you go for this T3 constructor, it will go to this constructor, it will execute and it will point to T3. 1020 will be the values placing here. What constructor it is? Default constructor. All of them will go to this place and then what is going to be? Done the values. Yes, Mono. Perfect. College name for many students and university name for group many students is going to be same. When you join as a fresher in the company, your salary will be same for freshers and then your company name will be for freshers and your technology you are working is also same for many people. Hence it indicates what? Default constructor is useful. Is it understandable, students? All of you? Yes, sir. Good. The purpose of default constructor. The purpose of default constructor is that to initialize multiple objects of which class? To initialize multiple objects of which class? To initialize multiple objects of same class with same values. The purpose of default constructor is that to initialize multiple objects of same class with what values? Same values. This is an important multiple objects of same class with the same values is the purpose of it. Syntax we understand. Go to the example. Yes, you want to implement this, you can go for it. Let's go. See students, already we did that. Once again, I want to go for it. Let's go. Class test. I will take default constructor example1.py. Default constructor example1.py. I will say def underscore init underscore of self. Yes, I will just write it. Self.a is equal to 10, self.b is equal to 20, and I will print the data also. Value of a. I will write it, students. Value of a is equal to dot format of self.a. I will print the value of b also. Self.b. Yes, self.b. I will just say here print of I am from which constructor, students? Default constructor. A message, small message. And after that, I am saying that some end of the line just to separate it. Yes. Fine. Let us coming to the main program. I am coming. What is the main program? T1 is equal to test of. See the first time default constructor example. Let's say take this example. Say it is going to be like this. Save this default constructor example. Out of that, you see this py default constructor example 1. See the output of it. I am from default constructor. Value of AB printed. Yes. So coming to the point back. Here I am going to say, Shahil, switch off your video. Go to the next point, next program you go for it. One more object you create, next one more program, and a test of wherever you want to initialize the object from today. You need to go for using that kind of thing. T2 object created. Execute again. Again constructor is calling. Let us see that. Execute. See the output of it. Default constructor. I got it. Default constructor. Go to back. I say T3 is equal to test of. Execute it. I'm getting that. Now see, I'm getting default constructor. I got it. Yes, the values I got it 3 times. All the objects initialized with what values? Same values. Did you understand? Is the default constructor clear? Perfect. Let's move to the next part. I will go for one more type of constructor I want to go for. What is the next constructor? See that instead of giving the separate constructor, I am giving the syntax for what? Default constructor syntax I gave you. Default syntax constructor example I gave you. Next I will go for parameterized constructor. I will take it. Same syntax. I will take the, let me take the definition first. Parameterized constructor. I am going to give you. Parameterized constructor, I am going to give you the clarity here. Yes, very simple. A constructor is said to be parameterized. Constructor if and only if which it always takes. I am writing it always takes what? It always takes values. It always takes what? Values or parameters. Yes, ma'am. Homcar, good. It always takes parameters. Sir, what is the syntax? Let's take the syntax. Let us take the syntax. I will take it. Yes, the syntax I will write it. Yes, see the syntax, my dear students. Self comma, everybody, list of formal parameters. Compulsory this is. List of formal parameters. Block of statements, initialization will take place. How simple it is. Let us take the example. See how simple it is. Let us take, this is an object. This is another object. This is another object. Multiple objects are there. Now say that these are the objects of what? T1. This is an object T2. This is an object T3. T3. Which class object it is? Test class object. Test class object. Multiple objects of same class. Multiple objects of same class. Creating multiple objects of same class. I want to go for taking, these are the multiple objects of same class. I would like to take here A and then B I am taking, and B I am taking, here I am taking A, I am taking B, here I am taking A, here I am taking A, here I am taking B. I would like to take the values here. I would like to take the values here 10, and next is called 20, 20. Here I would like to take 100. Here I would like to take 200. 200 I would like to take. Here I would like to take 1,000, 1,000 and 1,000. And next is called 2,000 I would like to take. 2,000 I would like to take. What are these? Multiple objects. See, multiple objects of what class? Same class. Same class. Initialized with what? Initialized with what? Different values. Different values. Different values. Initialized with different values. Multiple objects of same class. Initialized with different values. That time I will go for which constructor? Parameterized constructor I need to take. Parameterized constructor I need to take. Dear students, did you understand this? Come on, everybody. I will go for parameterized constructor. Sir, how do you create, sir? T1 is equal to test of 1020. How beautiful it is. Next object I will take it. T2 is equal to of what? 100 comma 200. 200. T3 is equal to test of 1000 comma. Not only that, I will take a KVR comma. I will take a KVR comma Python. I will take it as Python. How simple it is. Yes, ma, Omkar. Yes, Omkar, it is there. Now we are talking about that. Let me go for combined together when I write. I will tell you one special point for you. I will tell you one special point. Omkar, listen. I will tell you one special point. Are you getting my point? So T3 is equal to T3 is equal to, I got this line. Yeah, okay, 1 minute, ma. 1 minute. It went off. Yes. So I will take it. Now I'm going to take one small point, ma. Here I got it. It is just coming down. I will write it. Test of. Very, very carefully observe it. I'm taking here the data called KVR here. I will take it as Python here. Parameterized constructor here. Yes. Now you take off this line. Beside the line you remove that because it's not necessary at this moment. Now you see, guys, I will define the class. See, I will take the class. What is the class name? Class tester. I will write it def underscore init underscore of self comma. Yeah, I forget what to write. Can anybody tell to me? I forget, ma, what to write here. I forget. A comma B. Beautiful. Super students. What is self? What is self is containing reference of your T1. Reference of your T1, reference of your T1, reference of your T2, reference of your T3. Beautiful. Current class object. 1020 present in AB, 100 200 present in AB, KVR Python present in AB because Python is a dynamically typed programming language. Self dot A is equal to A. Self dot B is equal to B. Now I am asking a question. What is self.a is called here? Can anybody answer my question? What is self.a is called? What is this A is called? Tausif, be careful, ma. Self dot A is called what? I am waiting for you. Who will answer it correctly? I will say correct. Oh, Jafar, excellent, ma. Jafar, keep it up. Instance variable, that is called. Jafar, excellent, keep it up. It is called instance variable. It is called instance variable. What is this A is called? What is this A is called? It is called formal parameter. See that formal parameters. Already you forget that. How can you forget, ma? It is called formal parameters. I told you already in the class. Whichever is accessing with respect to self, that is called what? Formal. Formal. Whichever is accessing without itself, it is called a local or formal, but it is used in the function heading, in constructor heading, formal. Self.a is called instance. Already told you. Instance data members accessed with respect to self, I told you. Self, I told you already in the class. So tell me, I told you, I told in the class. So done, and you can print it. So how the flow is, when it is coming, it is going to execute and this object is initialized. Next, T2, it is executing, values are passing, this 100 and 200 is passing to AB is assigned to self.A, self.B, this T2 is containing. So this T2 is containing here, this AB. Next is called T3, this is T3. KVR and Python is put it into this AB and putting into self.A, self.B. That time it is going to be called not 1000, it is called KVR. It is called KVR. Please try to understand this modification, my dear students. And this is going to be called what? KVR. This is called KVR. You can take it, and this is going to be called as Python, Python, etc. Yes, ma, Omkar. Exactly. In Java point of view, instance data members are nothing but non-static data members. But in Python, we don't have the word called non-static data members. We must call it as instance only. Okay. Let's go to the program to view this. Let us see the syntax, formal parameters. What is the purpose, sir? See the purpose. I will take it. The purpose of which constructor? Parameterized constructor is that the purpose of parameterized constructor is that to initialize multiple objects of what? Same class with what values? Different values. With different values. The purpose of parameterized constructor is that to initialize multiple objects of same class with what values? Different values. Beautiful. Now, come on to that explanation. I will go to it. Already we did that example. See, students, see, this is an example of which constructor, ma? This is an example of which constructor? Self example of which constructor? Parameterized. EO1 created with what values? Some values. EO2 created with what values? Some other kind of values. Similarly, I would like to take this. I would like to go like this. One more example I would like to give you. Yes, let us coming to the parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Dot. Now I will pass 1020. I will pass it as 100, 200. Now I will pass it as what? KVR, and then Python I will take it, ma. Python I will take it. Let us see. I will write it. I am from which constructor? Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. I am from parameterized constructor. Self.a, two parameters you are passing, comma A, comma B. I say self.a, self.b is right. Self.a, self.b printed. Formal parameters. Self.a, self.b are called instance data members. If you want, here I can write it. If you want for your clarity for everybody, here A, comma B are called formal params. Because already you are aware of this. Need not write specially here. Here what? Here self.a A and self dot B are called what? Are called what? Instance data members. Instance data members. Beautiful. Instance data members. Self dot A, self dot B are called instance data members. Self dot A, self dot B. Values are done. Execute now. Execute now. Just execute. Save it. Yes. See students. PY. See that parameterized example. 1020. Yes. 1020. 100 200. KVR Python. Yes, ma. Saifuddin. Yeah. Don't worry. Now I am telling that flow. Look at students. Saifuddin asking the flow. Saifuddin, please look at ma carefully. I am telling to Saifuddin, careful please. This is called which constructor? Constructor. Okay. T1 reference is sending to where constructor. First of all, self is passing there. This 10 and 20. 10 is passing to where A. 20 is passing to B. And assigned to self dot A. That is a data member inside of this. Self dot B, data member inside of this T. Okay. Again, Saifuddin, Seema carefully. T2 is equal to test of 100 200. T2 reference is sending to where? Self dot A. 100 is sending to A. 200 is sending to B. Beautiful. And initializing these values. T2 is containing A, T2 is containing B. Next, I'm writing here T2, T3 is equal to, what is this? T3 is there in self, test of KVR, and then what? This is going to be coming to this place, A, B, and then initializing these values. So, all these things are done. Saifuddin, am I clear, ma? Am I clear? Okay, good. Got it. Nice. See, students. Yes. Jafar, what is your doubt, ma? Sir, instead of self, can we pass? Definitely. Can we pass or not? Yes, dear. That is what I am going to tell you in the class, student. Don't worry. Within few minutes, I am going to make it clear. Within few minutes, 101% you can write. See, now only I will tell you. In place of this, I will pass KVR. No doubt in that. No doubt in that. In place of KVR, in place of self, the first parameter, in the beginning level, whether you remembered or not, you can use the self or you can use any other variable. So the PVM, the first parameter, whatever you are taking in the method, that is going to contain the reference of this KVR only. KVR is containing the reference of T3. But according to the international standards of the programming, they recommended to take it as what? Self only. Now, here I will write it. See, students, KVR dot, KVR dot, KVR dot, KVR dot. See, students. Oh, beautiful. Very good doubt, Jafar. Keep it up. Anyhow, I am going to address that in my class. After you are becoming perfect, I am going to address same output, same output, same output you are getting. Same output you are getting. Beautiful. So here I will write it. Here I will write it. What I can write it? I can write same name. You can write your own name. No problem. But according to international standard, we have to write what? Self. Self. Is it mandatory to write self in place of self? Is it mandatory to write self in place of self? No, sir. You can write any of the name, but recommended for the industry recommendation, because you need to go for some industry recommendation or not. That's why you must go for what? Self. You need to pass it. Are you able to follow, ma? Is it understandable, students? Yes. Very good. Okay. Now, I hope you are understanding constructor called a default. See, sir, we understand default constructor, sir. We understand default constructor. We understand parameterized constructor, sir. Now I'm going to introduce one beautiful judgment we are going to decide. Let us take, sir, very beautiful example, sir. All of you, very keen of example, keen of observation, you need to keep it. Keen of observation, you need to keep it. Look at students, all of you. Dear students, default parameterized constructor. Both of them I am using. What is my T1 object? What is my T1 object? Default constructor. What is my T2 object created with which constructor? In this case, only default constructor I have. That's why I defined only default constructor. For every default constructor, one default constructor definition is required. Here only parameterized constructor. I have parameterized constructor. Only. Okay. Here I am having what? One default constructor is there, plus one parameterized constructor is there. That means in my program, how many constructors are there? How many constructors are there? No. How many constructors are there now? How many constructors I have to define? I need to define two types of constructors. We need to define two types of constructors. But which constructor you defined already? Default you defined. So everybody will think that. Everybody will think that. Now I am writing one more constructor I am writing. One more constructor I am writing. How many constructors we need to define? Two constructors we need to define. Yes, students? See, I am from comma. I will take A comma B. I will take A comma B. I am from which constructor, students? Parameterized constructors. Parameterized constructors. Parameterized. Okay? Parameterized. Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor. I am from parameterized constructor. Self dot A is equal to A. Self dot B is equal to B. Okay? Yes. Please, all of you look at that. Now I am going to, yes. Now everybody will expect that output is a 1020. Output is called what? Okay, let it be. I will take it as what? 100, 200, I will pass it. Everybody will expect that 1020. They will expect 100 and 200. But that expectation is wrong. That expectation is wrong. Sir, why wrong? Can you explain? Yes, sir. Ready to explain. This is your PVM starts coming from here. Yeah, it is called a constructor. Okay, it is scanning it, coming. It is called same constructor name. Same constructor name. Only thing is parameters are different. That means when it comes to this place, your PVM is forgetting about the first constructor. PVM forgets about the first constructor. Yes, ma, Omkar, Java is different, ma. Java is different, whose designing architecture is different. So, whose designing architecture is different. If I introduce Java, you will get confused again. Okay, ma? Omkar, now we will concentrate on this. In Java level, I was explained. Okay, now? Yeah. Coming to that next, so now when this line 16 is coming, when the line 16 is coming, PVM remembers which constructor? Which line constructor? Line number 10 constructor or line number 4 third constructor? Line number 10 only it can remember. It forgets about which constructor? This function. Already I told you in the functions whether you remembered or not. Did you remember in functions I told you, ma? Did you remember that? Yes. Come on. Now line number 18 you come. Line number 18. So PVM is looking for which constructor? PVM is looking for which constructor? Default constructor. Default constructor. Looking for default constructor. Do you have default constructor in the class test? Do you have default constructor in the class test? No. Because PVM remembers which constructor only? Line number 10 only remembered. So it is an error. It is an error. It is an error. Yes. Now it is an error. Let us execute, students. Let us execute. I will take it, my constructor name, default constructor, example 1. Default parameter combined together I am taking py default parameter. See that it is a constructor. Type error, line number 18. This is an error. It is an error. It is requiring only two positional parameters. What is that positional parameters? It is taking this one, but it is doing what? Missing two positional parameters. It is missing. It is saying you need missed things you need, but it is taking two things. It is taking two parameters, but you need what? A constructor without parameters. So see, this is an error. So, okay, Omkar, PVM is very bad, huh? Very bad. Okay, it forgets default constructor, right? Okay, very good. So you made a very good funny comment. Yes, PVM forget because it is an interpreter, na? It is an interpreter. It is like you. Okay, Omkar. Good thing you made. You made me to laugh. Yeah. So because PVM is an interpreter, it knows line by line things, na? It forgets about this information. Come on to the point here. Come on to the point here. What to do now? Suppose if I don't define this constructor, dear students, please watch it once. Watch it once. You are getting this constructor because of the first one. It got executed. But for this, it is an error. It is an error. Look at that. Look at this execution once again. You see error. First one I got. Second one I got a problem. This constructor got a problem. When I define the constructor, parameterizer constructor, it forgets this problem. This forgets the default constructor. That means, you see, error. It is a default constructor problem. Previously, it was a parameterizer constructor problem. This is a default constructor problem. Ultimately, tell me, how many constructors you can write in Python at a time? How many constructors we can write in Python at a time? Yes, one. But I want to solve the issue of both of them. Dear students, I want to solve the issue of both of them in the class. How beautiful we can write it. I want to solve the issue of both of them. How to do it, sir? No, Miland, no. I will solve it. Now, with your help, I will do it. No, ma, with your help, I will do it. See, my dear students, remove one constructor. Look at, ma, I'm telling one mechanism for you. Yeah, Shanawaj, I'm going to tell you, ma. Look at. You already forget. No, Shubham. No, ma, no, mono, no. Come on. I will take first for T1 is concerned, what values you want to place? Look at all of you. I am telling the solution now. Already I thought you forget that. I'm showing you that. Yeah. See, what is this T1 is called a default constructor. It is decided to initialize with which values? 10, 20. Okay. This is decided to initialize with what? 100, 200. Okay. You remove this first. Now see how beautiful intelligence I am applying. A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. What is the meaning of it? Remove this now. Remove. How beautiful knowledge. What is this concept called? You only tell me. Is it explained to you or not? Yes, default parameters. Is explained or not? Explained. Now tell me, is it taking any parameters? No, sir. It is happily going to which place? It is going happily to this place. Reference is there, T1. It is going to take it. Automatically default values are taken. Now it is going to be what? I am from parameterized constructor as well as default constructor. It acts as both. Now, since you did not pass A and B value assigned here and then B value assigned here, 10, 20. See, let me print it. Let me execute. See, my dear students, 10, 20. Like a previous output, 10, 20. Default constructor output. Come on, I will take it. T2 is equal to test of 100, 200. 200. Whenever you pass these values, T2 reference is kept into this, 100 is kept into this A, 10 is replaced with what? 100, and then 200 is replacing this B, 200 is replacing this B, right? Fine. Printing this AB, what are the values are printed? 100 and then what? 200 is printing. Here, what is the values are printing? 10 and 20. So default parameters concept is solving the problem of what? Solving the problem of what? Such a beautiful concept is available here. Execute now, students. See, my dear students, I got both the constructors defined in the same class. With that beautiful concept called what? Default constructor. Yes, ma, Taushif, you can take variable length parameter, but I am taking what? Here 0 or 2, 0 or 2, 0 or 2 I am taking. If I take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hundreds and thousand, if you take that time I will prefer to go for it. Why not? Parameter mechanism you can take in all the places. Parameter mechanisms you can take in all the places like our functions. Did you understand? Did you understand my mechanism here? All of you guys? Yes. So can I define how many constructors? Yes, I'm going to define one constructor. One constructor. Yes. Fine. What is that, ma? You cannot write like that, Omkar. You cannot write like that, ma. A comma B you cannot write. You have to write A comma B you cannot write, ma. You cannot write. I already shown you, na? A comma B you cannot write. You have to write. Yes, sir. STR also. Shubham, I will show you. Shubham, I will show you. Shubham, I will show you now. Wait. 20. I will show. T3 is equal to test of Shubham. Shubham, comma, what? Shubham. And next is called what? I will take Jafar, okay. So I will write it. So come on to the point of it. Come on to the point of it. I will write, yes, ma, 10 is equal to 20, A is equal to 20, B is equal to, right. So I will write it. I will write it. Python, I will write it. Python. No problem. You see, what is the value here? What are the values here? You see, values are coming. No problem. You can take one more. T3 is equal to, T4 is equal to, T4 is equal to, what is this now? Test of 10 comma 10. One number you pass it, one name you pass it, one number you pass it, one name you pass it, one number and a name you pass it. Is it understandable? Is it understandable, students? Yes. So we solved the point of what? We solved the point of what? Yes, ma. Here, here previous values is replaced with the current values. Saifuddin, you see, my dear student, I can write it. Not previous values preserved, ma. Here T1 is there. Saifuddin, see, my dear student. Yes, it's a good doubt. It's a good doubt, Saifuddin. See, here you are writing. Here previous values replaced with the current values. In the formal parameter, it happens, but it was preserved in where? T1. Sir, how do you print that value, sir? Print of content of, see, Saifuddin, T1 dot, comma, T1 dot, underscore dict, underscore dict. Beautiful, beautiful answers these are. T2 content, T2 dot, T3 content, T3 content, T4 content, T4 content. I'm using T4 dot dict. Seema, Saifuddin. Yeah, easy. You see, beautiful. The doubt is beautiful, first of all. That's really good. Yeah, see, what is printed? Values are printed. Of course, I said, 1 minute, let me go to my program. I did not save it. Let me save it. Execute now. PY, yes, our program name. See, my dear student, 1020, T2, T3, T4. I never bother about formal parameters. Saifuddin, did you understand, ma? Did you understand? Okay, very good. Content. Tell me, in our class of Python, now I am writing one big note. I will write it. One big note I am going to write it. What is the note point? In a single class of Python, in a single class of Python, we can define only one constructor. We can define only one constructor. Right? We can give in a single class of Python. Yes, ma, Hassan Ali, I will clarify your doubt, ma. Let me finish my sentence. In a single class of Python, we can define, in a single class of Python, we can define only one constructor. Even we create multiple objects. Even we create which objects? Multiple objects. Even we create multiple objects. Yes, I am writing in a single class of Python, we can define only one constructor. We create multiple objects with both default and parameterized constructors. In a single class of Python, we can define only one constructor with which parameters? Default. Come on, with the default parameters. Even we create multiple objects with both the default and parameterized constructor, and it will fulfill the need of both default and parameterized constructor. Did you understand, students? Did you understand this mechanism, ma? Yes. Coming on to the point of it, yes, sir. I hope that it is clear. Yes, sir. Our student Hassan Ali is having this doubt. If you give a value only, it takes B value automatically or shown error. Now you see students, see Hassan Ali, you see ma, once again, I will take it. T5 is equal to test of. Now you tell me 1000 I am taking. You tell me error executed. All of you tell me. What is the value? What the value will come first of all? It is executed perfectly. How sir? You are forgetting the concept of functions. T5 is placing in self, 1000 is placing into this, and B value will be taken as a default. Yes, ma, Hassan Ali. Yeah, Srinu, Sai, very good. Come on, Harsha, good. What is an output? 1000 is placing here, and the default value 20 is placing there. If you want, you can print it. Hassan Ali, did you understand, ma? Hassan Ali, did you understand? T5 here, T5 dot. Execute. Yes, please execute this. See the answer, please. Last you see 1020. Beautiful. Doubt is good. I'm appreciating. And see that this is called what? Information about this point. Now I want to say, understand what is the purpose of constructor. Come on, everybody. What is the purpose of constructor? Everybody. Purpose of constructor is that to initialize the objects. Initializing the object is nothing but what? Placing our own values. Definition of constructor. Very regularly asking question. A constructor is a special method which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during the object creation, whose role is that to place our own values without keeping object empty. What are the types of constructors? Two types of constructors we have. Default constructor, parameterized constructor. Syntax, purpose, definition. Parameterized constructor, syntax, function, definition. Syntax, purpose, definition. Note point I write. Now I would like to say, here, after the definition is over, I would like to give you one more point, my dear students. That is, of course, you already understand properties of constructors. Properties of what? Constructors I want to explain. Properties of constructors I want to explain. What is the first property? Can anybody can say? Can anybody can say? Come on. Properties of constructors. Excellent, Mono. Constructors will execute. Constructors will execute. Of course, a definition itself is same. I will give you. A constructor is a special method which is automatically or implicitly called by PVM during the object creation. And it initializes values, and it initializes the value, initializes the object. Perfect. The name of the constructor, see students, the name of the constructor, come on everybody, the name of the constructor, is, come on, what is this? Def underscore init underscore of self dot say s pass. That's it. This is the one you need to take care. If you want, you can write what is there. Params, if any. What params? Formal params, if any. If I take a formal params, it is called parameterized. If I take default, it is called default. Not taking formal params, default. If I take formal params with the default values, it is called satisfying both the default and the parameterized. Beautiful. Next, look at my dear students, all of you. Constructor of Python can be inherited. Dear students, those who are from my Java students, constructors in Java cannot be inherited. Constructors in Python can be inherited. Now I am writing, my dear students. What is inheritance? We are going to start in the further classes. Constructors of Python can be inherited. Constructors of Python can be inherited, dear students. In Java, constructors are not inherited. Constructors of Python can be inherited. Okay. When it is inherited, constructors of Python can be overridden. Constructors of Python can be overridden. Overridden means can be redefined. Can be overridden. That is nothing but what? Rewritten, redefined. Can be redefined. Can be rewritten. Can be rewritten. Constructors of Python can be overridden, redefined, rewritten. Are you able to understand? Yes. Constructors of Python can be overridden, redefined, rewritten, and constructors cannot be overloaded. And I already told you in the class, if you look at my dear students, it is not possible to write the same function twice or thrice. See, init function I am able to write twice. Previously, I got an error. Because in Java, there is a concept called overloading is there. Overloading is there. Overloading says what? Function name is same, different number of parameters. 2 numbers, 3 numbers, 4 numbers, 5 numbers. But here they did not use such a facility. Why? Because we have the variable length parameters concept is there. Am I correct or not? Am I correct or not? Yes, Omkar, I told in the Java classes or not? Yes. So we have discussed that kind of overloading, overriding. Constructors in Python can be overloaded. But in Python, constructors cannot be overloaded, but it can be overridden. Fifth point I am writing, constructors of Python cannot be overloaded. Cannot be overloaded. Can't be overloaded. Overloaded. What is that overloaded, sir? Can you explain that? Yes, ma, already I told you. 1 minute if you see, display of 1020, 1020, display of 1020, 30. It is overloaded. Display of 10, display of 10, 20, 30, and then Java, like that. Like that. Function name is same. Number of parameters, number of values are different. This is called overloaded. How can we solve this issue in our Python, my dear students? DEF display star A, star X, star N. What is that star N? You already know better than me. Did you know these points? Did you know these points, students? Variable length, 2 values can be stored in N, 3 values can be stored in N, 1 value can be stored in N, 4 values can be stored in N. Variable length parameters concept is explained. Did you understand? Did you understand? Yes. Let's go back to the point back. Let's go back to the point back. We already understand that these rules, you see how beautiful properties it has. Properties, or some people can call it as what? Characteristics. Characteristics. Characteristics of. Spelling mistake, huh? Characteristics of constructor. Some people will call it as the rules of constructor. Anything you can take it, rules of constructors. I'm taking that, rules of constructors, I'm just taking. I hope you are understanding this mechanism. See, students, is it okay, students? Properties understandable. Properties, types of constructors understandable. Very important these rules are. Yes. Now, did you understand, students? Yeah, last and final, I would like to give you differences between what? Methods and constructors. Differences between methods and constructors. Dear students, tell me, methods I will take it first. Methods I will write. All the points I will write in the methods. Now I will take constructors I will write here. Constructors I can write it. Yes. So regarding the constructors, already you have seen. Regarding the methods, you are seeing from the beginning onwards. Yes, tell me. Methods oblique functions are used for performing operations. Performing operations on objects. On what? Objects. Next, methods, constructors are meant for what? Constructors are used for initializing the object. Constructors are used for initializing the object. Initializing the objects. Beautiful. Okay. Next is what? Methods are function name. Can be like a valid variable name. Methods are functions name. Method or function name. Function names can be any valid variable name. Valid variable name. Any valid variable. Anything you can take it. Constructor name. The name of the constructor. The name of the constructor. Yes, sir. The name of the constructor is always, come on, students. Name of the constructor is always what? Underscore init underscore of self, comma, dot. Always. If you want a DEF also, I will write it. What is there? I can write, instead of leaving that, I will write pause. It can be any valid variable name. Okay, students. Third can be written. Methods must be called explicitly to execute its definitions. Executes its definition. Yes. Now I am saying here constructors automatically called by constructors or automatically or what implicitly called by what pvm during what creation, object creation. During what creation? Object creation. Constructors are automatically or implicitly called by pvm during what creation? Object creation. Okay. Constructors can be inherited. Methods also can be inherited. No problem in that. I hope that and these things are methods are methods may not return the values. May or may not return the values. May or may not return the values. Now, constructor, students, did you understand this point, ma? Did you understand this point? Fourth point. Okay, good. Construct methods may or may not return the value. Yes or no? I may return the value, I may not return the value. Please go once. Your constructor, you go, please. I will write. See, my dear students, return 10 I am writing. In the constructor, I am writing one value called return 10. Just testing. Just don't feel. I'm writing just testing. See that. Underscore should return none, not int. It is saying that it should not return anything. It should not return anything. Constructors are meant for what? I'm writing return something like this. I'm returning something like this. See, it got an output. Because if I write none, that means writing none return type is nothing but nothing is returning. Am I correct or not? Returning none is nothing but should not return anything. That's why constructors are not recommended to. Constructors will not return any value. This is the most ultimate point I am writing. Okay, I am writing, students, constructors never returns a value. Constructor never returns a value. But it can return what? But it can return what value? None, which is nothing but nothing. Yes, it can return none because they will ask you a code interview point of view. Can I return none? First of all, they will ask you a question. Can a constructor return a value? Can constructor return a value? No means which value is returning? None is returning, but a method can be returning a value. It can return the value. Let me write, students, 1, 2, 3, 4 here also. 2, 3, 4, I will write it. Did you understand these differences, my dear students? My dear students, did you understand this? Yes. These are the differences between what? Methods and constructors. Is my today's class is clear? Is my today's class is clear about the constructors? Yes, it is a very small concept. Easily we can understand. Tomorrow's class concept, when I come back, I will introduce additional destructors concept. I will introduce destructors. Yes, ma. Harsha, I received it, ma. I received it. Yeah, Harsha, thank you, ma. Received it. Yeah, good day. Good. So tomorrow's class, I will show you destructor concept. I will explain. What is our tomorrow's concept, ma? What is our tomorrow's concept? Destructors I will explain tomorrow class. Don't miss it. Garbage collector, I will show you garbage collector. Don't miss it. I will share this information now itself. Okay. Thank you. Good day. All the best.